Okay, so now that I clicked OK and stay, there goes the first patient. In fact, if you look over here, over in the EOB template, the last payment that I posted was to Homer Simpson, and it was for $750 of the total amount of the check from Blue Cross Blue Shield, $840, so now I have $90 left to post. And our next contestant on the EOB will be, I'll come up here, click in, and type in the 2753, hit the tab key, and it's Sandy Ann. And she does have a primary carrier and a secondary. Now we just need to make sure that we're sending these secondary claims electronically in order for these payment reason codes to be effective and actually go out on those electronic secondaries. Not paper secondaries, but electronic. Okay, so up at the top, beginning again, I don't have to type in the check number because the template did it all for me, so I can skip that. That's fantastic. Type in $90, hit the tab key, and then going down through all this, of course, as we just covered. Any notes that I want to is right there, again included on the statement or not, and then just basically come down here, and if the allowed amounts are different, again update your fee schedules so in the future you won't have to change that allowed amount, it'll be correct, but for one time you can set it up down here as whatever you want it to be, and then of course when you hit the tab key it'll update it, but I'm going to change it back to 65. And if you recall, by default the allowed amount is always going to match the charge if you have no allowed fee schedule set up. In this case it's for Medicare of Illinois, or actually you could have it set up and it just actually is reflecting your charge. I'm going to say the allowed amounts are okay, and I'm not going to do any debit adjustments. If I did, I want to make sure I do it first before I enter in the payment or anything else, because as you recall it'll wipe everything clean. For your takebacks, you want to watch the takeback training video, and I'll leave that up to you to watch that to understand how to post a takeback. And a quick little synopsis about posting takebacks is that it allows you to disperse payments when the insurance has withheld a portion of the payment due to a previous overpayment on a different patient. So to twist things up just a little bit, let's say here for this charge of 11300 that the insurance portion says on the EOB it's not $65, but it's actually $40. Hit the tab key and it updates, and now the patient owes $25, and that could actually be due to a copay. But if you read the EOB, it'll explain it. And then let's say for the second one here, the charge of 99212, the insurance says the portion that's responsible for is $50, and hit the tab key. And then we'll go to the first payment, we'll say is $40 for this code, and hit the tab key. And then of course we're going to pretend this is a secondary electronic claim, so we definitely want to have a payment reason code. I say definitely, you don't have to, it just theoretically is supposed to help speed up your secondary claim from Blue Cross Blue Shield if they can have those payment reason codes going out on this secondary e-claim when it does after we post it for Medicare here. So click on the gray box, and again there's no difference between the C, so I don't need to use C codes between the C and the allowed, but there is a difference between the allowed and the payment, so I need to use a PR code. And let's say this one is going to be the copay, so I type in PR here and hit the tab key. Actually it's going to be a PR3. If I click search, there's my copay amount, so I'll go ahead and double click on that. And then type in $25, hit the tab key and click add, and click OK. Build the next responsible party, which is going to be the secondary, that's fine. Come down here and go to the next charge, 99212, and you can see I've got $50 remaining, so I'll type in $50 down here, then hit the tab key and then click to add my payment reason code. There's no difference between the C and the allowed, or I'm going to be using the C codes, so no difference between 75 and 75. I can skip that, but there is a difference between the allowed and the payment, so I need to use a PR code. And let's say that the deductible wasn't met, so PR, tab, double click on deductible amount, and it's going to be $25, tab, click add, click OK. If everything looks good, go ahead and click OK and stay. It posts the payments, and I end up with the remaining of $0. So terrific. I just did my first EOB. The last patient I posted to is Ann Sandy, and I've got my $0 amount, so everything looks good. Now, this is always going to be here, even if you close out, unless you click Clear EOB. So we'll clear that, and then go ahead and set up the next one for the next EOB by clicking on the EOB button. But before we do that, I promised you I would go and look at these two patients after we post payments to them to see what it looks like, including the notes that we added to those particular payments. So we'll close out of here. We'll go to the blue dude and click on the patient. Now you could type in the patient's name here and pull up the patient, but I'd rather not, especially if I have photos, because it may take just an extra couple of seconds to download. For the second reason, I'm not going to be looking at any information here. I'm going to be looking at their history. So I might as well come here and up in the patient box I can type in the name of the patient, or better yet, if you recall we had their claim ID. If you go ahead and hold down the shift key and hit the number 6, it adds a caret, and then just go ahead and type in the claim ID, which for Homer Simpson for that particular data service was 1636. Let me move this out of the way. Hit the tab key and it pulls up Homer Simpson here with his 1636 here, and we can click to expand those charge codes here, and there's my payment insurance, $300, and there's the write-off. And then there's a second procedure code with the payment insurance, and then to get more detailed we can go ahead and double click on it, and there it is, just a fancy little note for me, okie dokie, this is tied to the payment. So that's not going to go out in the statement because I didn't check the box, as you recall. And then there's my codes. When I hover over it, gives me the description of the codes. So if this was going out electronically to a secondary, then this is what they're going to see on that claim. Tells me I posted the payment, that was me, and also the check number here of close out, and you can also double click on the next one. Same thing.